Hi, Rhys. I've got your questions here, and what I did is I've just taken pictures of them. I'm assuming that number one you're fine with, and I'm not sure about the other ones, if there are certain ones that you're having trouble with or not. So I'll just go through them one by one, and you can just skip over ones if you don't need them, I guess. So I'll start with number two, and I've got a chart here. Let's see if I can make it bigger. There we go. So this chart is what the sum of all the dice are. If you roll two dice at a time, and you add what's showing on each face together. So these are all the possible sums that you can get. So you either have to have a chart like this in front of you, or make a chart like this if you're answering these questions. It makes it a whole lot easier if you have it all organized first. So to get a 3 on only one of them, you're just going to go over to the chart and just look at a 3, and the only thing is that there will be one point where those intersect, and you've got a 3 on both of them, and that's the 6. So out of the 12 possibilities where you're going to get a 3 on just one of the dice, you have to subtract one of those. So that's why, what do they have? They have 10 out of 36, and I'm getting 11 out of 36, a 3 on only one die. I'm not sure that I agree with that answer that's shown here, so I don't know if those are answers that you were given, but yeah, I'm not really sure. So a 3 on one die, I get 11 because there was 12, but one of them is, showing 2 3s. That's the 6. So I'm not really sure why that answer is different than mine there. If we're looking for a sum of 5, let's see if we can match on this one, then all you're doing in that case is just going through and, I can't erase anymore, that's funny. All you're going through is going through and pick out anything that has a sum of 5. So what I'll do, I guess, instead is I'll circle in a different color all the 5s in the chart, basically. And we can see that there's only 5 instances where you're going to get a sum of 5. And there's 36 total possible outcomes. And so that would give us 4 out of 36. And in lowest terms, that's 1 over 9. So that's where that answer comes from. A sum that is not 8, and so basically what you want to do there is start by finding the ones that are 8, and then you'll just subtract that from 36. So if we go through the chart again, and it's getting messy, and I apologize, I'm going to just circle all the 8s. So it looks like there are 5 different situations where you would get a sum of 8. So out of 36, that means that there's 31 situations that you wouldn't. And so 31 out of 36 is the probability there. So similarly, if we're going to do a sum, I can't erase sum. Okay, good. At least it won't be so messy. That's all I can erase, though. A sum of 5 or 11, and so let's work in a different color. Again, I'll use purple this time. And so we're going to go through and circle all the 5s and all the 11s. And if it's an or question and they can't both occur at the same time, we can't get like 5 and 11, right? Obviously, it's only one sum when we're adding the 2 dice together. Then there's 6 possibilities out of the total of 36 outcomes, and in lowest terms, that's 1 over 6. So for the next question, at least 1 3 and a sum of 5. I think that's what it says. And so for something like that, what you want to do is, oh, sorry. Oh no, let me erase it. Oh, what a mess. Sorry, I hit the highlighter by mistake. All right, I really do know how to use this program, I swear. At least 1 3, given that the sum is 5. So that means if you go down the column where 3s are included and across the row where 3s are included, and at least 1 3, so that's including all the possibilities where a 3 is showing on the dice, and the sum has to be a 5, so there's 1 there and there's 1 there, And so at least 1, 3, given that the sum is 5. The way I'm reading that, I just read it again because I'm looking at the answer here and I don't agree with the 1 over 2. At least 1, 3 just means that it's got to be in either this column or this row of your chart, because that's where you've got a 3 showing on at least one of the dice. And given that the sum is 5, that's this possibility and this possibility. Those are the only 2 times that you could have a sum of 3. That you could have 3 on one of the dice and a sum of 5. So there's 2 possibilities out of all 36 outcomes there, which I would get as a 1 over 18 probability. So if these are answers that you're getting from your teacher, can you email me back and let me know that? Because I'm sort of not in agreement with some of those answers, and I'll have to take a closer look and see if I'm just not understanding something about what you're being asked to do here. So just really quickly, I've got question 3 here because it also uses that same chart, which I can't seem to make bigger now. Yes, I can. There it is. And so I thought we'd just do this one before we start a new video. So a pair of dice is rolled 3 times, and we're finding the probability that you get 9 all 3 times. So for a question like that, what you have to do is look at one roll and find out what the probability is of getting a sum of 9. So here's a 9 and a 9 and a 9. So it turns out, well, there's another one, that there are 4 out of the 36 outcomes that add up to 9. And so that's 1 over 9. Now if we want that to happen 3 times in a row, then that's where we multiply the probabilities, because we want a 9 and a 9 and a 9. And ands are multiplied in probability. And so the probability of 3, I guess we'll just call it 3 9s. Sorry, that won't write anymore for some reason. 3 9s is 1 over 9 times 1 over 9 times 1 over 9. And that's where they're going to get 1 over 729 for the answer, okay? Okay, and so just really quickly, looking at B, if we're finding the odds, if you have a 1 in 729 chance of getting 9 3 times in a row, then the odds are going to be that if you do it 729 times, one of them should give you the 9 3 times in a row, and the other 728 shouldn't. And that's how they get the odds figured out. And so that's why this is the correct answer for the odds part of it, okay? So hopefully that'll help. I'm going to make you a different video for some of the other questions and break it up into smaller videos so YouTube can handle it and we don't do too much at once.